right, welcome to day two. I'm not going to dive in quite yet with our intro, but just while people file into the room, Deborah and I will talk about something that has no relevance to this session. So the theme so far has been, I'll say, food and cities. So Deborah, what's your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food is bagels.
Bagels. There you go.
I love bagels.
You have one? Is there one down the street, the best bagel shop in the world down the street, or do you have to go
Well,
to
we have a BJ's Warehouse. I swear they have the best bagels. I mean, I could eat a bagel for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, I like bagels
Egg in
too.
the morning, peanut butter for lunch, and ham for dinner. I mean,
Oh, there you go. What about do you do like lox and I'm like
I
sour
do
cream.
lox without I like cream cheese. I like the
Yeah.
capers and the onions and the tomato. I mean, I just love bagels.
Well, the at QB Connect, we were talking about that before we kicked off. That little restaurant that was on the corner as you moved into go down the aisle, they had an amazing salmon and bagel. It was really good. I don't know if you had it while you were out there.
I didn't, but I'll have to have it when we go next year.
Yeah, do. It was really, really good. So, all right. So, all right. So that's your food. What about your city? What's your favorite city to visit?
I like to go to Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe. Oh, I have never been there. I would like to go.
Oh my gosh, I love Lake Tahoe.
Well, I need to put it on my list.
Yeah, let me know when you're going. I'll go with you.
All right, perfect. Perfect. All right, let me get this kicked off. I'm going to move my cheat sheet here to this screen, and we will get started here. So good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for Insightful Accountant's Future Forward Summit. My name is Gary Dehart, and I'm the publisher of Insightful Accountant, the host of Accounting Insiders podcast, and host of the Future Forward Summit. This session is Process to Price to Profits, and our speaker is Deborah Kilsheimer of Behind the Scenes Financial Inc. Deborah is certainly the most vibrant person in the profession, in my humble opinion. And not only is she the most vibrant person in the profession, she also knows a little bit about running and growing a firm. I'm going to have her introduce herself after I cover the housekeeping items, which are, yes, you can receive CPE for this session. If you are in the presentation for 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and if you answer 3 of the polling questions, we have 4, you have to answer 3. If you meet those 2 requirements, we will send you an email with a link to a short survey, and then complete that survey. We will send you your certificate. Yesterday, if you're on sessions yesterday, I said you'd get that within 24 hours. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. So it may be, give us 24 to 48 hours after the sessions end. The recording will be posted to our YouTube page. I will drop a link into the chat once Deborah takes over. Then we will also send you a link to the recording after probably, again, within another 24 to 36 hours, we're going to send out a follow-up. But again, you can always find it on our YouTube page. So we do ask if you have any questions during the session, just to place them into the Q&A panel. Be sure to make a specific reference to what you're asking the question about, because Deborah may not be able to get to your question until either the very end of the session or, it could be 5 or 10 minutes after you answer the question. So don't just say, oh, what did you mean by that? We'll have no idea what you meant by that. So be specific in your question, or give a reference to what the question is about. And lastly, this session is brought to you by Canopy. Canopy is an accounting practice management software that simplifies your firm so you can do what you do best, which is help more clients. That's about the shortest description of any sponsor I've ever read. I'm going to read it again. It's so short. So this session is brought to you by Canopy. Canopy is an accounting practice management software that simplifies your firm so you can do what you do best, which is help more clients. So Deborah, with that, I am going to turn this thing over to you. I'm going to go dark, but I'm here. I got your back. Thanks for being here.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me. This is kind of exciting for me that I was asked to present at this conference. Anyway, my name is Deborah Kilsheimer. I live in Port Orange, Florida, which is just south of Daytona Beach, north of New Smyrna Beach. My little town is famous for 2 things. It's where Ryan Lochte, the Olympic swimmer, learned to swim, and it's where Eileen Wuornos, the only female serial killer, was arrested. So that's what we're famous for. But today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite topics is how to build a profitable and successful accounting firm where you're making money. Now, my firm is just me and a part-timer who works remote and my husband, Hal. He does all the income tax. That's all he does. And he does nothing with the bookkeeping, the QuickBooks, nothing. So he only does income tax. So I always like to say, he works one day a year, I work the other 364. But anyway, let's get started. And so let me get this out of the way. So let's go to the next slide. Today, what we're going to talk about is, did I go there? Hold on. Okay. What is your process? To me, process defines how you're going to make money, because, that's important. I'm going to talk about price. What should you charge? Negotiating techniques. What are some negotiating techniques I'm going to tell you about and you can use? And then to me, one of the most powerful statements and things to learn is the power of how to say no. So let's talk about process first. Process, of course, is how you're going to do the business of accounting, bookkeeping. So first you have to decide, what is your platform? I've decided long ago, my platform was QuickBooks now, and I did then move to QuickBooks Online. I absolutely love it. So I remember when I was a desktop user and I went to my first QuickBooks Connect, and I was not going to change to online. No way, Jose. So I went and met Allison Ball. Some of you might know her. And she goes, Debbie, it's all moving to QuickBooks Online. You really, really got to get in the cloud. Nope, nope, nope. I said, QuickBooks Desktop works fine for me. Well, she kept insisting. So I said, tell you what I'll do, Allison. I'm going to run my business and QuickBooks Online parallel for 3 months till the end of the year. If I see no difference, don't talk to me about it again. She goes, I'll make that deal with you. I said, okay. So I went home, converted my own books to QuickBooks Online, started, if I did it in QuickBooks Desktop, I did it in online. 3 weeks in, I thought, holy smokes, I can do so much more in this QuickBooks Online. What was the holdup? 2 things. First of all, it was new. I didn't really know it like I knew desktop, was a new something to learn. And secondly was the subscription costs. I thought, I got to stop thinking like that. I have to think, if I invest in this, I'll save time. And that will mean I can do more clients, which means I can make more money. So I thought, okay, so my goal was to not think about the cost, was to think about the benefits. And I thought I want my very first QuickBooks Online bill to be over $1,000. And that's when QuickBooks Online cost $20 a month. And I remember the first bill came in and my husband, Hal, walks in, he's one of those frugal accountants. He walks in and he says to me, what's this $800 bill from QuickBooks? I said, I know, I'm so mad about that. I'm just so mad. I'm going to fix that. He goes, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to work harder because next month it's going to be 1,000. But that investment in QuickBooks Online, which is the platform I did, allows me to do revenue of the kind of revenue that to me, I just is like out of this world. From my little house here, I work out of my home, or I like to say I live in my office. And it's great. So then the next thing you have to decide are the apps you're going to use. Now, there are different apps that you want to have. There's internal apps to maybe track what you're doing. There's external apps where you can communicate with clients. There's security apps. So go find the apps that you want to use. The ones I use Uncut, I use Keeper, I use ShareFile, I use Liscio, I use Smart Vault, I use Cessant. I'm thinking off the top of my head. There's a whole lot of them I use, but those are the apps I use. Now, I do a lot of restaurants, so I just started to use Shogo to start importing the transactions. I also do, when I use ADP for my payroll, and we import the transactions. Some of you might use Gusto, import the transactions. So I want to use apps to speed my processes up. Then of course there's the collecting of the financial documents you have to do. We have to collect the documents. So, the old fashioned way, you'd go to the client and pick them up, or they'd scan them and email them. Well, I'm very concerned with security. So now I started to use apps to take care of that. Something like maybe you use Expensify or like Keeper, like we use, or, Lisio, or any of those apps, or Dext, or, any of the apps to make it easy for your client to get you the stuff so you can have the information. Of course, there's recording of the financial transactions, how you're going to do it, paying the bills, reconciling all the accounts. This is all the stuff that we do, reporting of this stuff, and then communicating with the clients. And throughout this process, you have to maintain the accurate records. And I saw a Facebook post yesterday. Well, the apps don't, sometimes the bank feed doesn't work, and sometimes this doesn't work, but it's just a dumb computer. Our job is to review what happened, reconcile the accounts, just take a step back and say, this makes sense, or it doesn't. So I don't think we're going anywhere with all this chat AGT or whatever it is. They still need us, to be able to review what happened and have the personal touch. So this is my process to work with the clients, and you need to decide this before your first customer, because a lot of times we do it after the fact. So pick your platform. Now you can start adding apps as you expand your business or it starts to grow. When I first started, I used just QuickBooks Online, and I start to look for apps. My little key is if I start to get frustrated, boy, it's taking me more time. Something's not happening. And what I do, it's the best thing, is I reach out to my friends, and, I'm a member of Bookkeeping Buds, which I just adore, and say, what do you guys use for this? And then someone will answer, or I say, I don't understand how this works. And someone will say, well, this is how I use this. So one of the best things about this community is finding other people like us and then asking, put it out on Facebook. What do you use? If you're a member of a group like the Woodard Group or Bookkeeping Buds or anything like that, put it out. What do you use? This is my frustration, and what do you use? And then test it out. The one nice thing about apps, it's not like you're getting married, where you're done for life, or a cell phone contract. You use an app, you don't like it, you stop using it. That's it. So I like being able to test them out. And if it doesn't work, we try something else. And they're always changing. So keep your eye out, but don't learn too many, because you can't chase two rabbits and catch either one. What that means is you can't be good at everything. So find what you're good at and be masterful at it. Price. This is my favorite topic. How much, price is the amount of money that a buyer pays in exchange for your services. It's the value that you assign to what it is you're doing and what the buyer is willing to pay. And determining the right price, of course, is dependent on a lot of things like costs, competition, customer demand. And let me tell you about a little competition though. I don't care what the guy down the street charges. I'm going to be the most expensive person in town, because, I think about, like, there's two steakhouses here, Ruth Chris Steakhouse and Golden Corral. Do you think when they started Ruth Chris, they called up Golden Corral and said, gee, I wonder what they charge for a steak. I'm going to charge like they do. No, so think about your competition, but that's not where you're going to, that's not your baseline. And I'm going to charge less than them. Don't do a race to the bottom. And of course, customer demand. And one of the things that's great about being an accountant, everybody needs us. Everybody. Everybody needs a hairdresser or a barber, a funeral director, and an accountant. So we'll always have business. So first, to determine your price is calculate your costs. Now, we are not doing cost plus for you to determine what to charge, but you need to know how much it's going to cost you to run your business. So take the cost of the platforms you use, all the apps that you do. The other thing factor in is I buy a new computer like every 2 years. I just want the latest and greatest. I don't want a slogger. I want something that's this Speedy Gonzalez, maybe a new laptop. I don't buy a laptop as often, but my desktop is, a sings. And then I have 4 monitors. So I have my IT guy come over. What's new, Larry? And anything I need to change. So I factor that into my annual budget of how much I need. I also factor in the cost of the conferences that I go to. The conferences that I attend have made the biggest difference in my career because like I said, I meet other people like myself, and I go to 3 of them. I go to Scaling New Heights, I go to Bookkeeping Buds, and I go to QuickBooks Connect. And that's where I meet my friends. I get inspired. I see that, yes, there are other people out here like me that like to reconcile bank accounts and get excited when it goes to 0. So you find your friend. My best friends are people I've met at conferences. So factor that into the cost it is to run your business. Now, then research the competition to see what other people are charging. And like I said, I want to be the most expensive person in town, and this helps you understand price range. Now, what's interesting is there was a girl in town. Unfortunately, she died suddenly. She was very good. So her husband calls up and he needed someone to take care of her clients right away. I said, well, what was she charging? She was charging $20 an hour. I thought, they won't like me because, if you paid me by the hour, which I don't charge by the hour, I charge $220 an hour plus. So, so if I researched the competition before I started, I might've said, well, I'll charge $22 an hour. So, know what it is, but understand you decide what it is you want to charge. Consider your target market. Think about the clients you want to deal with, for example, and think about the clients you don't want to deal with. I don't do construction. I don't do manufacturing. I don't want complicated clients. I like easy, simple businesses, really small businesses in a sense that, it's the owner, maybe another, 1 or 2 shareholders, maybe employees up to 10, 15 employees. I like to focus on restaurants. I do a lot of pool companies. Everybody in Florida has a pool, and I do a lot of small used car dealers. So that's who I focus on. So I know the apps that goes with them and all of that kind of doodah. And then determine the value that you place on what it is. Now, what's interesting about value is subjective. So what's something that's worth something to you is not worth as much to me. Okay. So value is subjective, and you learn that what's important to them when you start negotiating your price. Determine your pricing strategy. Your strategy is, do you want to do the new, like Ron Baker talks about, the subscription pricing model? Do you want to do the 3, small, medium, and large, like, the diamond, what I'm talking about, the 3 different levels, and that kind of stuff. Now, I've never been an hourly, I never charged by the hour. I remember when I was first a CPA coming out of the box, we had to keep track of time every 6 minutes, and Tony was in the office and he was stupid. So it took him longer to do a job. And my boss thought he was great because he could charge more per client than what the ones Tony worked on. And I thought, but Tony's the dumbest guy in the office. I can get more done. Why are we charging a flat rate? Why is me, who's smarter, we charge those clients less than we charge Tony, who's dumb, and he didn't have a good answer for me. So I thought we should just charge a flat rate. And he just didn't get it. So that was back when I was 25. My birthday is Tuesday and I'm going to be 67. I know I don't look it, but I'm going to be 67. So how long ago was that? Do the math, So I just never wanted to charge by the hour. So I always wanted to charge a flat rate pricing. And I always think, I have a friend, Donna, who says, people ask, what do you charge? And she goes, whatever gets me excited to work with a client. I just love that answer. But ultimately setting the right price requires balance between your understanding of your costs, your target market, as well as testing and adjusting the price based on feedback, market conditions, whatever it is you're doing. Price fluctuates, it can change. Things like that. The next thing, once you've decided your price, this is what I'm going to work for, have confidence in that price. This is what I charge. When Ruth Chris opened their doors and said, we charge $125 for a steak, they had confidence in their pricing. Don't be, oh, I don't know. You think they're like it? You think that's a fair price? I see that all the time on Facebook. That drives me nuts. Decide on your price ahead of time. This is what I charge. If someone can't pay, they can't eat at your store. It's okay. Not everybody can afford you. There are people that will work for $20 an hour, like that. Understand what it is you bring to the client. Understand your value proposition. What is it that you're giving to them that they no longer have to do? Make sure you understand that unique value, the speed, the accuracy, that you're always there for them, that they don't get with a regular employee. You can, I always use the Walt Disney example, where I said, I live here in Orlando, Florida, Disney World. And I say, do you ever heard of Walt Disney? And he came in one day and he said to his brother, Roy, hey, Roy, I have an idea. I'd like to start a theme park. And Roy says, well, okay, let's figure out how to do it. Roy was the brains that made Walt's ideas happen. If not for Roy, Walt would just be, he was the idea guy. So to me, the business owner is the idea guy. You're Roy that makes it happen. So I talk about that a lot when I'm talking to clients. So I said, I'm the brains, you're the heart. You come up with the ideas. I can look to see together, we can make your business thrive, and I can build your wealth. You want to be rich? I can help you get there. What is it you want to achieve? So I talk about that a lot. Test your pricing, meaning throw it out there and say, well, see who bites. I remember I just got a client and they asked me what it was, how much do you charge? And I sat and I thought about it. And this guy, he's kind of wealthy. And I knew what he was paying his last bookkeeper that was not giving him what he was wanting. And I said, well, for what you want, I'm going to charge, like $6,000 a month. And he goes, oh, he said, that's all? And I went, darn it, I should have charged more. I was happy with the 6,000. So I thought, but I kind of looked around and thought I wanted to test it, and it worked. Be willing to negotiate. What I mean by negotiate is don't discount. I never want to hear you say the words discount. What you can do is take away service. That's what I want you to do. Okay. So by taking steps like this, be confident in your price, know the value that you bring, and you'll start to, see a difference. Now this is an interesting thing. I just put this slide in. I thought it was kind of cool. All the time I see questions on Facebook. What should I charge? How much should I charge? And so I went down and I figured this out. If they were going to hire an in-house bookkeeper off of Craigslist, and you know how good they are, no offense to those people, but they don't have the education, the background. They don't attend webinars like you do, stay on top of everything. And they pay them $20 an hour and they work 10 hours a week. They would gross $200 a week. At 52 weeks a year, their annual wage would be $10,400. That is before taxes, equipment, cost of the training, paid time off, all the aggravation of having an employee. Divide that by 12. That means their minimum monthly charge should be $866.67. I think you're better than a $20 an hour in-house employee. And remember, we don't charge by the hour, but you can do for the simplest of businesses. That to me is a 10 hour. That would be, now you're not going to be working 10 hours a week, because with QuickBooks Online and the apps that you use, you might work, I don't know, 10 hours a month, if that. So the minimum monthly price, think about charging $866.67. You get a little more complicated client where now you're dealing with, looking at the deposits, credit cards, maybe AR, AP, that kind of stuff. And they would hire somebody for that, and they charge again $20 an hour. Now they're working 20 hours a week. And remember, they work by the hour because they're employees. You can't hire a bookkeeper in-house. Say, you know what, just, work an hour. Why would you go to work? So if it's 20 hours a week, that would gross $400, $20,000 annually. Divide that by 12. Your minimum monthly would be $1,733.33. Now, I'm not telling you how much to charge, but I just want you to think about this math. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Gee, I'm only charging $200 a month, and they're getting the value of a CFO for nothing. Now, the other thing too, is when I talk to clients, they really don't know what a service like we should cost. They think in their head, that they're thinking a $20 an hour bookkeeper, that's what they're thinking. Or my wife used to keep the books, or I used to keep the books, so you have to really elevate your status. You can do that by, passing the certifications, or just, like I said, confidence is the key to me. And I say, if you were to hire somebody at 10 hours a week, you would pay this. And I charge less than that. Now, the other thing I do when I'm talking about price and how much to charge is I give them a weekly price. So I say, if you were to, this is exactly what I said. If you were to hire somebody $20 an hour, 10 hours a week, you would pay $200 a week. I only charge $175 a week. Or you see what I'm saying? Or if you think it's a more complicated client, you would pay $400 a week. I only charge $375 a week. Oh, do you see? Now it's relative to what they're used to thinking about. Now, I'm not going to work 20 hours. I'm going to work maybe, I work when I want, but and with the technology, I can work pretty efficiently. So you see how it starts to add up? But I charge by the week. And then when I start to ask about how do you want to pay, I say, do you want to pay me? I bill weekly. Do you want to pay in 2-week or 4-week increments? Not, do you want to buy it? Yes or no. Which do you prefer, 2 or 4? I just did this the other day, and the guy says, well, I'd like to do 4, but I bet you probably want 2. So 2's fine. Yeah, I'll do 2. So now we want to talk about negotiate. Yeah.
Let's pop up a poll question here.
Sure.
All right, here we go. What is your biggest fear when negotiating prices? Lines up with what you're talking about and leads right into to the next slide here. We'll leave this open for a few more seconds here, and if you want the CPE, you will need to participate. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Not getting the best deal possible is the number 1 fear. Coming across too aggressive is number 2, and then the other 2 are tied. Losing the negotiation altogether and being taken advantage of by the other party. There we go. Back to you, Deborah.
Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about negotiating your price. I don't know. I didn't see the results of the poll. What was a lot of people say they're afraid of negotiation, Gary?
The number 1 was not getting the best deal possible. Number 2 was coming across as too aggressive. And then number 3 actually was tied, losing the negotiation altogether.
Right. Okay.
Or being taken advantage of.
And I think one of the big things with negotiation is we want people to like us. So we're afraid if I ask for too much, they might not like me anymore. I don't worry about that. Because the likability is important, and they get to like you by your personality, who you are, how you talk to them, so if I just come across with, this is what I charge. And I tell people all the time, I said, this is what I charge. If we don't want to work together, that's great. The best thing that happens, I made a new friend. They're allowed to say no. So, but negotiation is, to me, it's fun. I learned how to negotiate at yard sales, by the way. That's where best place I learned how to negotiate. But negotiation is the back and forth dialogue to find common ground with a mutually beneficial outcome. So, the client wants to pay, $200 a month, and you want to charge $2,000 a month. What you have to do is start to build the value of what it is that you do. And you do that by active listening. So what is active listening? It's really paying attention. Paying attention, focus your attention on the other party, avoid distractions. I'm sure none of you are doing this, like checking your phone and when you're talking to a client. When I go see a client the first time, I turn off my phone. I don't want the beeps. I don't want the dings. I don't want to be distracted by my phone going off, nothing worse. I remember when I was, gosh, I'm telling you, you all know how old I am now, but remember when call waiting came out? That used to irritate me. I'm talking to you on the phone. The little ding would come in for call waiting and somebody would stop. Oh, let me see who this is. And they'd answer the phone and it would be like, wait, well, what about me? So I always remembered that. So I thought, I don't want to be distracted by my phone. Now, if a client picks up the phone and starts talking, I'm thinking to myself two things. Okay, he's not really paying attention to what we're talking about. So that, that might be a red flag for you to pay attention to. But he's allowed to answer his phone, but not me. And I also want you to don't think about what you're going to say next. And what that means is, how many of you do this I do this a lot, and I do a lot with Hal, and he does it a lot with me. When we're talking, I don't wait for him to finish before I start talking. So I try to make a conscious effort of letting him finish talking before I start, because I get so excited about what I want to tell you. And I do it all the time. So I actually have a little thing, a little card I make up when I'm in webinars or Zoom calls or something, big black letters with a big black marker. Don't talk so much. And so, but let them finish. Let them finish their thought before you start telling yours. Okay. And you could take a breath before you start talking. Acknowledge their emotions. And I mean by that is, I can sense that you're a little nervous about this, or I can see that you're not understanding. Pick up on their cues. And one of the things, women are really good at this, so I think we have more of an empathy gene. Not that boys don't, but we can kind of pick up on, what people are thinking, maybe feeling. So I pointed out to them, I can sense that you're a little nervous about this, or, this is making you a little anxious. You just acknowledge, I just mirror back what it is I'm seeing from them. Ask open-ended questions. It encourages them to talk. What do you think something like this should talk? How do you see us working together? What is it you're looking for in an accountant? What do you expect from somebody like me? Paraphrase and summarize, repeat back what you just heard. Okay, what I think I heard you say is you want somebody to be X. Okay. So you're paraphrasing and repeating back in your own words to confirm the understanding of what it is you heard them say. And then mirroring. Mirroring is repeating the last few words or phrases that the other party has said. Try this with your spouse. It's really amazing. So Hal will talk to me, and he'll say something and I'll go, oh, whatever he'll talk. Oh, I went to a garage sale today. Oh, he went to a garage sale today. I bought a lot of stuff. It was really good. Oh, really great. What it does, it encourages him to talk more. So he'll start talking more. And when they're talking more, your clients, that you'll learn information. It's important to, in mirroring, to repeat the last few words or phrases at what they said, use a similar tone and voice and body language. Don't sound like a parrot, so that's why I want you to practice it. Use it sparingly and use it in conjunction with other active listening techniques. So by using mirroring along with other techniques, you can help build rapport and establish trust. Remember, these people need to trust you. To me, that's the most important thing that you need to build with your customers or your prospective customers, because I tell them all the time, I said, you're going to have to trust me because I'm going to be in your underwear. I'm going to ask for banking information, logins, passwords. I'm going to ask you to put my phone number down there so I can get the code in the middle of the night. So you have to like me and trust me, and I have to do the same for you. So I'm confident in what I can provide to them. And then if you're trustworthy, they'll pick it up from you. Okay, this was mirroring. Here's some examples of mirroring. I'm concerned about the price of the service. You're concerned about price, and let them talk. I'm not sure if this is the right decision for my company. You're not sure about the decision? Let them talk. I don't know if I can afford this. You're not sure you can afford this? I don't give them a reason why. Well, if you stop going to Starbucks every day and you didn't get your hair done, you could afford me. I don't do that. I just say, you're not sure you can afford this. Let them work out in their head how they can afford you. You know, we're looking for a partner who can provide quality customer service. You're looking for a partner who can provide quality customer service. You see what I mean? It's remember that you use similar tone of voice and body language to the other party and don't sound like a parrot. And like I said, practice, 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 practice. Okay, no, one of my very favorite words. This to me is a negotiating technique. This also has to do with process. It's not only important to define what you will do, it's almost more important to define what you won't do. Like I said in the beginning, I don't do job costing, I don't do manufacturing, I don't do construction, and I don't do homeowners associations. I don't want to do them. So if one of those calls up, I say, I don't do those kinds of clients, but I can refer you to somebody that can. The other day, someone called up from ProAdvisor and they needed someone who was a Spanish that could do, his wife was Spanish and she was looking for a Spanish speaking consultant, ProAdvisor. So I said, I don't speak Spanish, but I know someone who's really good here in Florida. So I called up Vanessa Vasquez and said, got you a client, happy day. She wants someone Hispanic and I told her you were the best. And Vanessa said, did you talk about price? Nope, that's your job. But I could pass on the referral. So you don't have to take everybody that walks through the door, so define what you won't do, set your boundaries. If you don't want to, and, a lot of times people will say, that my clients are calling me at 8:00 at night. Don't answer the phone. My clients have my cell phone number. If I don't want to talk to them, I don't answer. You don't have to answer the phone, or to respond to a text. You will teach people how to treat you. So if I answer the phone at, in the morning, I'd never call a client before 8 a.m. And I can email them any time of day. I'm figured they're not up at 3 a.m. like me answering email. So I don't, I'll send emails at any time of the day. I don't expect a response. The other thing that I used to do when I was growing up in the profession, I always put I always say my Wonder Woman bracelets on, and a client would call up with a problem, an issue, a dire emergency, and I would respond like that. Made me feel like, man, look how good I am. Well, there's no real emergencies in accounting. There's maybe a few, like if the IRS shows up at your door with guns drawn, or they forgot to do payroll. Maybe that's something you need to respond to after hours. But I wait till the hours you decide to work. So what are the boundaries of the hours, the time of the day that you're willing to work? Are you going to work weekends? That's up to you. You decide. Demonstrate strength, meaning, saying no no, I don't do that. I find the people that can say no, we respect them. It just, no, I don't do that, but I can refer somebody that does. No, that's not how we run our business. Somebody comes in and they say to me, I want you to use Xero. We don't use Xero in my firm. We use QuickBooks. If you're willing to switch to QuickBooks, then great. I remember when I was first starting out, a CPA in town called me and he said, there's a bookkeeper in town that she is unfortunately has in the last stages of cancer. And she has 5 clients that need a bookkeeper. Are you interested? And I just met Hal. We'd been together maybe a month. I just lost my job at a big law firm. I was, that's a whole nother story. But I said, well, let's go talk to him. If you don't talk to him, at least, he might not refer us to anybody else. Went in and Hal goes, I don't want to do bookkeeping. I just like tax. I said, well, I'll go. Let me just go talk. We'll be nice. So we walked in and he said, these are the clients, this was 20 years ago, by the way. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I could make $20 an hour, that'd be great. Cause I had just come off of a part-time job making 11. So I thought, wow, if I could charge 20. So I said to Dave, I said, well, how much is she charging? She charges $50 an hour. I about fell off my chair. They charge that? So then and I thought, well, I charge 60. Remember, this was 20 years ago. He goes, I think they'll pay whatever you charge. They need the help. So the next thing he said to me was, they all use Peachtree. Remember Peachtree, which is now Sage? I thought, I don't know that. So I use QuickBooks. I went and met every one of them. And I said, I'm a QuickBooks expert. And every single one of them said to me, we don't care what tool you use. We just need the job done. So don't think that you're in charge of the platforms, the apps, the products that you use. So if somebody calls you and they want to use Xero, I'm sorry, we don't service that any more than a BMW dealer is going to service a Mercedes. You do what you're good at. So protect your interests, meaning, that's again, protect what you're good at, that kind of stuff. And you want to create leverage, meaning, saying no can be a way to create leverage in the negotiation process, that you're not willing or are desperate to accept any offer. It's more likely they'll make concessions and they'll come back with like, okay, we'll do it. Okay. Encouraging compromise. And what I mean by compromise is you can take away services. Now, the other thing I do when I'm talking about price with a client, we always want to go in with our low ball price. Well, what do you charge? Well, I charge $850 a month. I go with my highest client. I go, well, my highest paying client pays me $6,000 a month. Anything less than that sounds like a deal. I think for what I can do for you, we can probably get away with $1,500 a month. Oh, and then we can, and the more I do, we can, whatever. But do you see how 1,500 sounds like a lot less than $6,000? So start with your highest price. You ever go buy a car? They put you in the most expensive car with all the options. They don't start you with the lowest model. They put you in the maxi car. So you go, oh, I really need those wind up windows. I really need this. I really need that. So instead of taking things away so that you can come down in price. So start with your highest price. Okay. Okay. There are two sentences I want you
Hey,
to
Deborah,
memorize.
let me hop on. Let us have a poll question here.
Okay.
And it's around when saying, the question is, well, let me get the poll up there. When saying no, what goes through your mind? I hope they don't hate me after this. Yes, I finally get to use this word. I wonder if I can get away with a maybe instead. Oh no, now I feel guilty for saying no. Something tells me that number 4 is not one that has ever been on Deborah's heart. Oh, now I feel guilty for saying no. All right, we'll just hold this open for just about 5 more seconds. Most everybody has already participated. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then I will share so you can see. Oh, am I sharing? Here we go. Now I'm sharing. Yes, I finally get to use this word. And then, and then actually number 2 was, oh no, now I feel guilty for saying no. And then I hope they don't hate me after this. And then I wonder if I can get away with a maybe instead. There you go.
Do we need to do another poll question, Gary? We're running out of time. And I know that you said that answer 3 out of 4.
Yes. So let me I'll go ahead and throw up the Canopy poll. Again, Canopy was our sponsor, and it's basically software to help you run your practice. So this is a simple yes, no. Well, actually, it's a yes, no, we're not sure. So, so does your firm currently utilize practice management software? And we'll leave this open for about 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I will, there we go. All right, Deborah, it is all yours. But just a reminder, you do still have to be in session for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. And we haven't quite hit that mark yet. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, we got another 5 minutes, I think, till you can I'm watching the clock here. I grew up my dad was a clock collector, so I usually have clocks all around me. Anyway, these are 2 sentences I want you to memorize. Sometimes I think it's good to have answers in your pocket or what to say. So how many times do you get the call when they first call you up and say, well, how much do you charge? Now, a lot of times I see on Facebook or whatever, people get mad when clients ask me that question. Well, if you have to ask, you can't afford me. I disagree with that. How many of you, when you're looking at an app to purchase or you go to a restaurant, where's the first thing you go? You go to price. Is this something I should even consider? Because if it's out of your price range, you can't afford it, you at least have an idea. So that's on the initial call, how much do you charge? And then when the other one is when they don't respond to your proposal. You figured it out, you had the conversation, now what? So when you get on the initial call, I want you to write this down. This is what you're going to say. Is price your only parameter in selecting an accountant? That's what I say. And they go, no. I said, great, because if it was, I'm the most expensive person you're going to talk to. I'm also the best. So we can keep talking. It takes the price away, that question, how much do you charge? So I will say, we're going to come together to an agreement so we can both work together. I'm going to see if I like you. You're going to see if you like me. And together we'll come to a price that we both get excited about. Now, if they say to me, what do you charge by the hour? Here's another one. I say, I don't charge by the hour, but if you were to pay me by the hour, I charge $1 million an hour. Because you're not paying me for my time now. What you're paying me for is all the blood, sweat, and tears it took for me to get this good. So that's why I charge a flat rate, because no one can afford me hourly. And they go, oh, okay. So does that sound good to you guys? What do you think? All right. So the next one, you've created the proposal. You've sent it out. Now you're sitting and waiting. And I do this. I've done this at a couple of conferences, and I always challenge you to do it. How many of you have proposals right now that are sitting out there? You're waiting to hear. Oh, gee, and we think we have a client in our pocket, and we don't. So this is what I want you to do. If they don't respond, I want you to do this. This is all you're going to do. You're going to send them this email. Have you given up on working together? That's it. Nothing else. That's it. Now, I have heard back from people, that sounds pushy. I need to push them. They need to either push them off the cliff or get them into the corral, because nothing's happening right now. I don't like limbo. Aren't we? Aren't we? So I send them this email, and I do have, one time I tracked it. I think I sent it at like 8:14 and they responded like at 8:22. It's amazing how quickly they respond. If they don't respond, and I have some that don't, they've given you the answer. So you take them off your plate. But if they do respond, they'll either respond, oh, yes, something's coming my way, let's get started. Or, oh, something's happened. They'll give you a reason. And I come back, well, when can we begin? Because I need a definite, because if someone's sitting there, not knowing, if they're going to be a client with you or not, I don't get paid on air. I need something to do something. The other thing I do, little tricks on, I guess you like tricks, as I go, well, I only take a certain number of clients, and, because we're a boutique firm, I always call us a boutique firm. And, so I'm going to have to see if we can fit you in. People want what they can't have. So I think, well, let me see. So sometimes I go, well, I just had a client that closed their doors, so I do have room. But, it fills up fast. I mean, we see that all the time. I mean, I don't know about you, but, Hector just put out a thing on Facebook. He's having a conference that only holds 56 people. And I'm thinking to myself, I want one of those tickets, because there's only 56. If it was like, there's 1,000 tickets, anybody can go. We go, yeah, okay, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't. But there's only 56 tickets. I feel like writing to Hector and say, look, I'll send you the money in advance. I want to go to that conference. So make it so there's no space. I don't know if Hector did that on purpose. I don't think he did, but do that in your business. I only service 10 clients, so I can give them the service that I want. Just think about this. If you doubled your price and lost half your clients, you'd make just as much money and work half the time. So these are 2 sentences I want you to memorize. And I want you to get back to me and let me know if they worked. That to me is important. Did they work? They're scary because they might be new to you. And like, well, what if I, send that and they, what do I have? You have nothing now, so send it out and get them off the plate. Okay, well, this is me. My name is Deborah Kilsheimer. There's my contact information. So if you need to get a hold of me, that's how. I do, frequent Facebook a lot. Don't post all so much, but I do love reading everything on Facebook. But you are certainly welcome to email me and call me or text. I love talking about this. This is, I think my favorite thing is talking with all of you, my colleagues. You have taught me all of this stuff. I'm not special. I'm not better. I'm not different. I'm just who I am. And I want you to be the best that you can be and build your business how you want it to be. The key is deciding it in advance. I decided when I met Hal, the life I wanted to have and the business I wanted to create. And we've been together now almost 25 years. And it's been great. He's 76. I'm going to be 67. And he keeps saying, are we ever going to retire? And I'm thinking, why? I'm having too much fun. I mean, I am having too much fun. So I want you to have fun with your business and grow it. This is a fun profession. The people that you meet, I think, are the best. I love all the people that I meet at the conferences. Y'all become my best friends. I mean, truly, truly. So, and again, this was Canopy sponsored this conference, and their accounting practice management software. So if you don't have one of those in your firm, be sure to check them out. And I do appreciate them sponsoring my session. I hope you learned something or had fun at least while you talked to me over lunch. But back to you, Gary.
All right, great timing. I have a couple of questions that are in the panel here. One says, how do you deal with active clients who go MIA for long periods without replying to your open items asks?
I do the same thing. So have you given up on working together? I can't make them want to do it, but if, and then, and that's what I send that out. It seems to work, and the more I'm with clients, the more they become my friends that I can talk to them. You haven't talked to me in a while. Is everything okay? I'm getting a little concerned. If I don't hear from you, I'm assuming that you don't want to work together anymore. I let them go MIA, but I don't. I need to know definitely where I'm standing, because I can't finish my job, but I leave it in their court. I'm good about it's in your balls in your court now. I mean, I have no problem with, ask, I always say, I always put their name in, like if you were my client, Gary, I say, ask Gary. That's why I like Uncat, because first off, it's inexpensive and it's easy to use. They can log in. It's easy to use, so I like that.
Actually, I'm going to go back. Somebody asked a question. Actually, I'm wondering if you use both Uncat and Keeper. Can't Keeper do everything that Uncat does?
It probably can. I started with Uncat and then I brought in Keeper. So you start with one and I thought, okay, now I'm going to go back and give them another one. So I started using Uncat. And now I'm moving to Keeper, and I do Keeper mainly for me. So I can track the closing dates and all of the stuff I have to do internally, So, and both of them are very inexpensive. Uncat's $5 a client and Keeper's only 10. So if you can do both in Keeper, great. Keeper does more than Uncat, but Keeper does what Uncat does. But I started clients on Uncat, so I'm leaving them there. Make sense?
Gotcha. Yep. And then somebody also asked, this was right after you had started, they asked, did you say that you use BotKeeper? And if so,
no, I don't use BotKeeper. I use,
okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that wraps it up. There's just a lot of comments in here saying, thank you so much. Great session. Hold on. The best talk ever.
Oh, thanks.
That one with you. How about that? Yeah. So, yeah, Lisa, she'll be sending you that royalty check. So from all the money she's made here. So, but Deborah, thank you so much. As I said early on, certainly the most vibrant. No offense to anyone else. I know we're in a very sensitive society now. No offense to anyone, but in my humble opinion, Deborah's the most vibrant in our little community here, and a super nice person. And so we talked about trying to do something like this. I don't even know, 3 years ago. It's only taken us 3 years. We should be able to move a little bit faster than that. So hopefully
Oh, well.
on.
Have you given, I sent Gary an email. Have you given up on working together?
Well, that's the email I'm going to send to you. Yeah. Have you given up on me? So, all right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in Scaling New Heights in a little over a month. We will certainly see you there. And as always, anybody, everyone, if you think you qualified for the CPE, if the poll didn't pop up, or if you have some issue with that, we should get those out in the next, I think I said 24 hours, but I'm going to ask you to give us 48. So you should see an email from us within the next 48 hours on these. And I will put my email one more time down in the chat, which is gdhart@insightfulaccountant.com. Shoot me a note if you have any issues. Again, Deborah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're quite
Thank
welcome.
everybody
My
for
pleasure.
taking some time out of your day. And we will see you soon. We do have another session kicking off in about 30 minutes. Hopefully we will see you all there. Thanks.
Bye.